Once again, we have a learning from the Sefer Chideckel, on Parshas Vayislach. Here, this is the Sefer Chideckel on Parshas Vayislach. That's the Parsha of last week. So let's go right now. Vayislach Yaakov Malachim Lefanov El Esav Ochiv, and Yaakov sent Malachim. He sent angels ahead of him. Lefanov El Esav Ochiv Archo Seir Sidei Adom. And then Esav sent angels ahead of him to Esav. Then Jacob sent angels ahead of him to Esav his brother, to the land of Seir, the field of Edom. And I think Rashi says it's Malachim Mamash. Vayislach Yaakov Malachim Mamash. Actual angels. Okay. And angels can also be construed messengers too. But Rashi says Malachim Mamash, actual angels. And then here, this is a pasuk that we're going to talk about. Vayitzavosam lemor, and Yaakov Vayitzavosam, he commanded them lemor, saying, Ko somrun la'adoni li Esav. So should you say to my master, to Esav. Ko amar avdecha Yaakov. So said your servant Yaakov, your servant Jacob. Im lavon garti v'eichar ad oto. I have lived, im lavon garti, I have sojourned with Lavan, and I have stayed until now. So he charged them, saying, he said, this is how you should talk to them. Thus shall you say to my lord, to Esav, thus you shall say to my lord, to Esav, so said your servant Jacob, I have sojourned with Laban, and have lingered until now. So he should say that, and also when he says Garti, that implies I have sojourned with Laban. The verb Garti, lodged, implies staying as a stranger. In other words, he wasn't so 100% with him. From Ger means an alien. Thus Jacob meant to tell Esav, I have not become a great prince, nor have I achieved status. I remained merely an alien. Therefore you need not hate me for having received father's blessing. 27:29, that's the Parshas 27, and the Pasuk 29. Since it has, that's the Yitzchak's blessing, since it has clearly not been fulfilled. So let's see. So in other words, he's talking about Esav as if he were the master, and he, Yaakov, God forbid, of course, and he, Yaakov, was the servant, God forbid. So let's see what we're talking about over here. Vayitzavosam lemor, he commanded the messenger, saying, Ko somrun, or the angels, Ko somrun la'adoni le'esav. So you should say to my master, to Esav, Ko amar avdecha Yaakov. So says your servant Yaakov, Im lavon garti v'eichar ad ato. I have been sojourning with Lavan, and I have been there till now. Bereshis, Lamed Beis, hey, that's in Bereshis. That's the 32nd chapter, and the fifth pasuk. V'yamru Chazal b'Medrash Rabbah, the Chachamim said in the Medrash Rabbah, Parshas Ayin Hey Sif Hey, Rabbeinu HaKadosh Omer LaRabbi Efes, Kesov Chad Agra Min Shemi, LaMaron Malka Antoninus. So Rabbeinu HaKadosh, Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said to Rabbi Efes, Kesov Chad Agra Min Shemi, write a letter from in my name, Lamaron Malka Antoninus, to the master Antoninus, the king Antoninus, come because of, so he got up and he started reading. He started writing, Min Yehuda Nasiya. He said it's from Yehuda Hanasi, the head of the yeshiva, Lamaran Malka Antoninus. So Rabbi Fest started writing from Yehuda Nasiya, from Yehuda the prince, to Maran Malka Antoninus, to the great, the master Malka, the king Antoninus. Nosava, so Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, Nosava, he went and he looked at it, Vikareya, he read it, Vikareya, and he corrected it. He said, no, this shouldn't be the way. You don't write it that I'm Yehuda, that he is Yehuda Hanasi. Amar lo, the Rabbi Ephes, he said to Rabbi Yosef, he said to Rabbi Ephes, Kesov min abdecha Yehuda lemaran Malka Antoninus. Write from abdecha, from your servant Yehuda, to the master, the king Antoninus. You should say, in other words, he made himself like an Eved, and he made Antoninus the master. This is the way he referred to it. Amar lo Rabbi said, Mifnei ma ato mevaze al kibodecha. So Rabbi said, why are you mevaze? Why are you lowering yourself in this way? Why don't you say, I am from the head of the yeshiva to the king? Why do you say from your servant? Why are you saying it? Why are you throwing away your kavod, your honor, when you talk to him? Amar lo, Rebbe, the Rebbe Ephes. So Rebbe said to Rebbe Ephes, Rebbe is Rebbe Yehuda Hanasi. That's Rebbe. He's called Rebbe. To Rebbe Ephes, Ma ano tav min sabi. Am I better than my grandfather? Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was the grandfather, so he called himself Abdecha Yaakov, your servant Yaakov. Ma ana, what is it that I tav am better? Min sabi, from the Zayde, from the grandfather Yaakov Avinu. Lokain Omar, Ko Omar Abdecha Yaakov. Didn't he? No. Lokain Omar, didn't he say, Ko Omar Abdecha Yaakov? So says your servant Yaakov, Jacob. Harunu Bozeh Chazal Sheparsha Zo Shel Pegishas Yaakovim Esav V'Hanhogoso Shel Yaakov Shehisnaig Klapi Esav Hu HaParsha V'Hanhogo HaKelalis Shel Golos. So Chazal taught us with this, that this parsha of the meeting of Yaakov with Esav and the way he carried himself, the way he carried himself, the way he showed himself to be with the way Yaakov carried himself, Shehis Nahig Klape Esav, that this is the way he carried himself, Klape Esav, by vis-a-vis Esav, he ha-parsha v'ha-hanhogo ha-kalalis shel golos. This is the parsha, this is the chapter behind Hago. This is the way we should act ourselves, the hanhoga, the minhagim. This is the way we should act ourselves, the general way, shel golos, in golos, when we are outside of Eretz Yisrael. This is when we are in the diaspora, in the diaspora, and the Beis Hamikdash is not here. That's Golos. That's the diaspora. V'kemoshe kosev haRamban lahalon v'parsha, and just like the Ramban says further on in Parshas Lamed Gimel, Parsha Lamed Gimel, that's 33 Tesvav. That's That's 15. Yavo'u devarov lahalon b'devarenu. His words come in our what we're talking about. Sheparsha zu he Parshas Golos. This parsha is the parsha of Golos. Umekivan shehikir Yaakov shehamatzav matzav Golos hu hichalit shetzorich lehisnahig b'hachno ubechavod. And since this parsha is the parsha of being Golos, being it's the diaspora, meaning that we were kicked out. We were kicked out of Eretz Yisrael. We're not in Eretz Yisrael again. Dispersion from Eretz Yisrael. So Yaakov understood that this is the parsha of Golos. So since we are in Golos, we are in exile. Hu hichlit shetzorech leisnagig v'hachno. He made up his mind that he has to conduct himself b'achna with anibus, with in a sort of a lowly manner, not lowly, but I mean with modesty, in a modest manner, b'anibus. In other words, not to be braggadocious, b'achna u'b'kavod, and kavod also. He's giving the other person kavod too. Ledaver b'lashon shel ko sa'omrin lodeni li Esav ko amar avdecha Yaakov. So he's to say it in the lashon of, so you should say to my master, to Esav, ko amar avdecha Yaakov. So said your servant Yaakov. Emtzochein, and also here's another quote. Emtzochein b'einei Adoni. Let me find favor in the eyes of my master. So that's another lashon of another language, another way of talking. That he's being subservient. He's sort of saying, giving kavod to the other person, he's giving honor to the other person, and he's not holding himself so high. Emtzachein b'einei Adoni. I will let me find favor in the eyes of my master. V'kayotzi bo'elu halashonos, and like all of these types of languages, v'chein hishtachavia Yaakov le'Esav sheva pa'amim. Yaakov bowed down to Esav 7 times, ad gishto ad echov, until he reached his brother. He bowed down to him 7 times until he reached his brother. Yaakov for sure knew that he was greater than his brother Esav. Though here shum shiflus negdo, and he did not feel any kind of subservience to him. He didn't feel that he was lower than him. So why was he talking in that way, and why did he bow down 7 times until he reached him? Abal hahanhoga bepoel hu b'maasim b'diburim shel hachnoa. However, in Golos, the hanhoga, the way of acting, bepoel, when you're actually doing it, hu b'maasim b'diburim shel hachnoa, is with actions and talking, of modesty, of subservience, also in a way. Not you say my master, and he said, called himself a servant in Golos. This is what Yaakov Avinu taught us. V'od limdunu Chazal shekamo sheYaakov Avinu Isnaig im Esav Cain, Gam anu tzarichim la'asos. And also the Chazal, the Rabbanon, taught us that just like Yaakov Yaakov, our father, Isnaig im Esav Cain, Yaakov, our forefather, conducted himself in this way. Gam anu tzarichim la'asos. So we have to do the same thing. Because of Haramban, Reish HaParsha, and like this, the Ramban says in the beginning of the parsha, "Nechtava haparsha hazos lo diaki hitzil hakadosh baruch hu es abdo V'goalo miyad chazak mimenu v'chulam. So the Ramban says that this parsha is written. This parsha was written lahodia ki hitzil hakadosh baruch hu esavto, that to show that Hashem he hitzil, that he saved us esavdo, and